So here we are on final exam review 2. Let's start with number 1. Okay. Look, you're going to notice that all 3 of these review sheets are very similar. And look, they do not look exactly like your final exam. That wouldn't be right. But as 1A here says 4 less than 3 times the number n, on your real final you might see 5 less than 2 times the number somewhere in the test itself. Not number 1A, but somewhere along those lines. So if you can do every question on these 3 final exam review sheets, and then I added a 4th one just on some of the recent material. If you can do that, you can do every single question on your test. Okay, 4 less than 3 times a number is 3n minus 4. B, for more than. Remember, for less than and more than, last shall be first, first shall be last. You have to switch order. So the 4 goes last, plus 4, and twice the number is 2n. So letter B is 2n plus 4. The sum of twice the number and n. So you got to do twice the number and 9, and then add them. So that's 2n plus 9. As opposed to letter D, which says twice the sum of a number and 9. The sum of a number and 9 is n plus 9. And then you got to multiply that by 2 because it says twice that sum. Okay, number 2A is a literal equation. Solve for C. That means get C by itself. So I subtract 6D. Then I divide by 7, and I get C equals 3 minus 6D over 7. Letter B, subtract 2 L's from both sides because you want to get W by itself. It says solve for W. So that gives me P minus 2L equals 2W dividing by 2. I get P minus 2L over 2. Now, if you see something like this in multiple choice, it could also express the answer where you divide the 2 into each term individually, and that would then become P over 2 minus L because the 2 2's would reduce or simplify to 1. Number 3, express the following in bracket notation. Well, you're allowed to equal on both of them, so there's a bracket on both of them. So it's negative 1 comma 9, both in brackets. However, in letter B, above the 7 is an open circle, so that has to be a parenthesis, and the filled in circle is a bracket. So that's negative 3 to 7. Solve each inequality. Remember, if you multiply or divide by, not into, that doesn't matter, by a negative, you switch the direction of the inequality. You switch from less than to greater than and vice versa. So on A, I add 4 to both sides. Then I divide by negative 4. And I get B is less than or equal to negative 5. You have to switch that inequality. That's what students will forget to do sometimes. Most of the time, no, they'll remember. Letter B, subtract 2 from both sides, then multiply by 5, n is less than 25. I do not need to switch the direction of the inequality because I multiplied by a positive. Okay, number 5 is all equation types that somewhere, somehow you're going to see on your test. The first one is an opposite side, opposite operation situation. So always start with the smaller number of the variable. Minus 3t gives me 2t minus 1 is 21. Adding 1, 2t is 22. Dividing, and you get 11. Okay. 8y minus 4y plus y is 5y, right? That's 8y minus 4y is 4y plus another y is 5y. Negative 2 and negative 1 is negative 3. Hush. And then add 3 to both sides. 5y is 15. Dividing by 5, y is 3. Letter C, distribute the 3. That gives me 12y minus 3 equals. On the other side, combine like terms. Same side, same operation. That's 3y's. Then I'm going to subtract the 3y's to get 9y's. Then I'm going to add the 3 to get negative 27. Dividing by 9, and I get negative 3. Number 10, I need my least common denominator, which is 10. So I multiply everything by 10. Gotta sneeze. Excuse me. It's the Friday morning after Thanksgiving as I do this. Distribute the 10 to every term. 10 times 2n over 5. You can do that on a calculator. Just do 10 times 2 divided by 5. Don't worry about the n. Just put it as part of the answer. That would tell you 4. So it's 4n. Plus 10 times 1/10 n is n. So 4n plus n. Negative 3 times 10 is negative 30. And 3.5 times 10 is 35. Equals 12 times 10 is 120. Now we have a regular looking equation without any fractional denominators. So same side, same operation. 5n plus 5 is 120, standard two-stepper. Minus the 5 to both sides, 115. Dividing by 5, n is 23. It's nice that it worked out evenly. It doesn't always do that with fractional equations. Okay, number 5. Length of a rectangular garden is 5 less than twice the width. Perimeter is 98. So as we've taught throughout the year, two things that are very important to pay attention here. The equation itself is kind of routine. Two things to pay attention to is, number one, always draw the picture. It makes it easy. And number two, what are they asking for? In this case, the dimensions, which means they want the length and the width. So here's the width W. Here's the length 2W minus 5, right? Because it's 5 less than, switch order. Last shall be first, first shall be last. Twice the width. So the first 5 goes to last, minus 5. And twice the width becomes first, so 2W. So I have my left, my top, my right, my bottom. Add them all up, I get 98, because perimeter means distance around. Same side, same operation. Altogether, I get 6 W's. Then I have a minus 10 for negative 5 and negative 5, and that's going to equal 98. Add 10 to both sides, divide by 6. Excuse me, I'm blowing my nose there. And I get W is 18. Okay, that's great. The width is 18, but I want to know more than just the width. I want to know the dimensions. The dimensions in a two-dimensional figure are length and width. It says the length is 2 times the width minus 5. So 2 times 18 minus 5 is 36. Minus 5, 31. And that's my correct answer. Okay, next up, number 6. Going shopping again. Jenna, her husband Jim, and the daughter Jolene. Jolene. Dolly Parton, if you don't know that. They all see the perfect gift for the youngest family member, and they all think they can get it for the lowest price. Okay, so I actually made a mistake on this one. I'll have to correct it right here. Jenna finds it for 50% off. So 50%, here's another way to do it. The last time we did it using 50 over 100, in this, or 40 over 100, or whatever I did. In this case, 50% is the same thing as a half, and half of 32 is 16. So $16 for Jenna's price. Jim finds it for 30% off, and then an additional 20. So you would think 30 and 20, 50, he's getting it for 50% off, but that's not true. Because the first 30% off, which means you pay 70, here it is, cross multiplying, you get 22.40. The first 30% off, it's just like Jenna gets hers. But the additional 20 doesn't come off the original price. It comes off the new price, which is less. So that 20% is not as high as if it was off the higher number. So if you are saving 20%, you're spending 80. So 80 over 100 equals n over 22.40. Cross multiply, and you get 17.92, which is a little bit more money than Jenna spends, which is to be expected. Last, Jolene gets it for 4/7 off. And here's where I made my mistake. 4/7 of 32, just multiply them, and I get 18.29. I just forgot. It's not off. It's 4/7 off. I thought it was 4/7 of the price. So now I have to do 32 minus 18.29, which works out to be 32 minus 18 is 14. It'll be 13.71. So actually, Jolene gets it for the cheaper price. Okay, Jolene gets it for the cheaper price. So I have to put a little correction up there. Number 6, Jolene, cheapest. Explain the 4/7. So I will explain that in the written section under the video so people don't miss that. Number 7, a surveyor is mapping 3 points in the shape of a triangle. You know, this is poorly worded, but on your final, there is one similar to this, and I worded that one poorly too. But I added a picture of the triangle to help you out, okay? Because the problem's not you, the problem is me. So I said the angle between A and B, and I should have said the angle formed by B, A, and C. That was my mistake. But here's your diagram in case you didn't get it. And if you didn't get it, then just copy the diagram down, do the problem, and then check your answer. The angle at A is 3n, B is 2n plus 2, and the angle at the shed, which is like C, is 5n minus 12. So they add up to 180. 3 n's and 2 n's is 5 n's, and 5 more n's is 10 n's. And then positive 2 and negative 12 is negative 10. So I get 10n minus 10 when I simplify it equals 180. Add 10 to both sides. 10n is 190. Dividing by 10, n is 19. Okay, now you have an isosceles triangle. Here's the two legs, 6n minus 11 and 3n plus 22. The base is 4n plus 7. Make them equal to each other because the legs of an isosceles triangle are equal, so therefore 6n minus 11. That's what these little marks mean, that they're equal, is going to equal 3n plus 22. Opposite side, opposite operation. Subtracting the 3n, I get 3n minus 11 is 22. Adding the 11, 3n is 33. Dividing by 3n is 11. But that does not answer the question. Oh, what are they asking for? Well, they're asking for the length of one of the legs. And that would be 6 times 11 minus 11, which is 55. Okay, number 9. Twice the sum of a number and 9 is 38. So here we're getting back to that idea of twice the sum of a number and 9, or sum of a number and whatever. You have to put that in parentheses first because it's twice the sum. Distributing the 2 to both, I get 2n plus 18 is 38. Minus 18 to both sides, 2n is 20. Dividing by 2, n is 10. Letter B, 3 times a number decreased by 8 is 13. Now, there's nothing about 3 times the sum or the difference, so we just do 3n minus 8 is 13. Add 8 to both sides, 3n is 21. Dividing by 3, n is 7. Okay, number 10 talks about consecutive integer word problems here. Find 4 consecutive integers such that the sum of the first 2 increased by twice the third, and 3 times the fourth is 119. So the first thing that's real important is the 4 consecutive integers, and I label them here on the side. n plus 1, n plus 2, n plus 3. Consecutive in a row, 7, 8, 9, 10, like that. So you go up by ones. Then I always like to write this line here, because it really sets me up. The sum of the first 2, so that's n plus 1, plus twice the third. Here's my third one right here. So that's 2 times n plus 2. Plus 3 times the fourth. Fourth is n plus 3. So 3 times n plus 3 is 119. Now let's just do the math. Okay, distribute. N plus 1 plus 2n plus 4 plus 3n plus 9. Same side, same operation. Altogether, that's 7 n's. 1 and 4 and 9 make 14. Subtracting 14, I get 7n is 105. Dividing by 7, I get n is 15, but that does not answer the question. It wants the 4 consecutive integers, so that's 15, 16, 17, and 18. Last one for this video, number 11. Find 3 consecutive odd integers, so that's n plus 2, and n plus 4. Here's my wording. Ready? Twice the first plus 3 times the third is 59 more than twice the second. I love writing that out because then you just go look up the first. It's n. So twice the first is 2n. Then it's 3 times the third, which is 3 times n plus 4. And then twice the second, 2 times n plus 2, plus 59, because it's 59 more than that. Last shall be first, first shall be last. Then just solve the problem. Distribute the 3, that's 3n plus 12. 2n and 3n make 5n, plus 12 equals 2n plus 63. Subtracting 2n's, 3n plus 12 is 63. Minusing the 12, 3n is 51, n is 17, and that makes 17, 19, and 21. We'll pick up with number 12 on the next video.